One of the things I did when I started learning to cook is I got a few culinary mentors. And it started with my mom because we lived on a small farm, and she had an orchard and a garden, and we cooked from our own animals. And as I've begun my process to increase my knowledge, there are a few chefs and people out there that have really had an impact on me culinary-wise. So today I wanted to talk about one of those influences. It might surprise you who that is. But I also want to give you an announcement of something we're doing this upcoming weekend. We are actually going live this weekend, and I'll tell you about that today on What's Up Wednesday. So cooks, it's Wednesday, and I just wanted to give you heads up on something that we're doing this upcoming weekend on Saturday and Sunday. I believe it's the 6th and the 7th. We are going live twice. This is going to be my very first going live on the YouTube channel. I've went live on Facebook, but not on our YouTube channel. Eric's been setting up some fancy stuff so we can make that happen with our regular camera equipment, and I'm looking forward to it. So what we're going to be doing this Saturday the 6th is we are going to be unboxing 6 stand mixers live. If you can believe that, 6 stand mixers. This video is going to be sponsored by Cheftronic, and they are going to be having some promotions on a whole bunch of different of their mixers. And they sent a couple over for us to take a look at. And they actually sent over 6. So we are going to be doing the ultimate stand mixer unboxing this upcoming Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. There's a link to it on the front page of my channel, as well as I'll put a link down in the description. We're going to have a lot of fun. The next day, on Sunday, we are going to cook live. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make. I'm thinking we might make some brownies live right here in this kitchen. So we're going to be doing that both Saturday and Sunday this upcoming weekend at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll put links down in the description to where the live session is going to be, and you can hit a little button in there for a reminder if you'd like to join us. If you're not available at those times, it will be uploaded to the channel so you can watch it on replay. But I'm excited. Literally 6 stand mixers. This will be the ultimate stand mixer unboxing. So I will be happy to see you there because we're going to have a lot of fun. Now let's talk about one of my culinary influences. So now on to the topic of What's Up Wednesday. I always tell people to find yourself cooking mentors. It could be 1, it could be 20. It just has to be someone that gives you inspiration, that you can model your work after, that you can grow as a cook based on their experience. And usually that starts at home. So you're going to say, my mom was my first inspiration, of course, because we lived on a small farm and we had a garden and we had an orchard and we had our own animals, and she would can and she would cook out of our garden. So in my 40s, I decided I wanted to develop some really good fundamental cooking skills from the very beginning, going back to really basic things before I move on to the next stage. And I'm still in that stage, right? I'm still learning so many fundamental techniques, and every time I cook something, I learn something. So I can tell you that there are a lot of people that I look up to, for their skills, for their recipes, for their techniques. And the very first person, sort of professional chef that I really was inspired by was Thomas Keller. And I know what you guys are thinking. you're thinking Thomas Keller, he's like totally out of my league, right? Number one as a home chef and number two as a beginner chef. But I have learned so much from his writing and from the interviews that I've watched of him and all that kinds of stuff that I would say, I think after my mom being my culinary mentor, Thomas Keller was my second one. And if you're not familiar with Thomas Keller owns a restaurant called the French Laundry out in California, in the area of Napa. And he is known for his outstanding work. His restaurants are arguably some of the best in the U.S. And he is, every new chef would dream to go work in one of his restaurants because he is incredible. And I've learned a lot from him through his books, through watching interviews, through all kinds of stuff. And yes, Thomas Keller is way out of my league in terms of him being a culinary mentor. But I have taken away from him so much stuff in terms of techniques and philosophy about the way I cook that even though I won't attempt a lot of his recipes, particularly, this is his book, The French Laundry. My copy is getting a little rough because I've even lost the cover on this. It has a really nice cover, but I lost it. Along the way, I basically wrecked it. But so this is my copy of The French Laundry, and this is where I started. The French Laundry was the first Thomas Keller book that I got, and it can be very intimidating. I can tell you that I've never actually cooked a recipe out of this book. I don't think I'm at that point yet because some of his recipes might be stuff that I don't necessarily eat or might be very challenging for me. So I'm still in the beginning stages, right? But there's so many things that I have taken from this book that I apply in my day-to-day cooking for the home that I would say that Thomas Keller has had the most impact on me aside from, friends and my mom than anybody. And when you open up the French Laundry cookbook, first and foremost, it is beautiful. Everything about this cookbook, you can tell that Thomas Keller prides himself in high quality work, right? And what I've taken from him is my focus on preparation, organization, and sanitation and cleanliness. Thomas Keller is known for, when you go into his kitchen, it is absolutely spotless. And that's what I've taken away from him is cooking clean, cooking organized, and preparing and planning. One interesting thing, that this book is a treat just by reading the first sentence or the first paragraph. Chef Keller says, pleasure and perfection, when you acknowledge, as you must, that there is no such thing as perfect food, only the idea of it. And this is pretty amazing to me because sometimes I feel like in a recipe that I want to cook the ultimate version of something, and a lot of that comes from my cook-off days. You can tell that in my pancake recipe, I still have not developed my perfect pancake, right? He goes on to say, then the real purpose of striving for perfection becomes clear, to make people happy. That's what cooking is all about. So the real purpose is not necessarily perfect food. You're striving for this perfection, but in that, you're doing it to make people happy. And that's all that cooking is about. Cooking is not about convenience, and it's not about shortcuts. Some people tell me, oh, how do I make the fastest version of this? Or how do I, make dinner in 15 minutes or 30 minutes? And I understand there's a lot of times that you need to do that. I need to do that. After work, you get home, you just want to get something to eat. But when you are learning to cook or cooking on the weekends or cooking, something to develop and stretch your skills, you have to look at a recipe and say, I want to learn how to make this. And to make this, you have to take these steps. When I do that, some people tell me that, oh, I don't want to make that. There's too many ingredients, or, oh, there's too many steps. But that's what the dish is, right? Cooking is not always about convenience, and it's not always about shortcuts. The recipes in this book are about wanting to take the time to do something that I think is priceless. Our hunger for the 20-minute gourmet meal or the one-pot ease and pre-washed, pre-cut ingredients has severed our lifeline to the satisfaction of cooking. Take your time, take a long time, slowly and deliberately with attention. So when you want to make a dish, review how you're going to do it. Prepare all your ingredients ahead of time and know when you're executing the dish to stick with your plan. That's how you will master a dish. One of the things that struck me about the French Laundry is Chef Keller was talking about the law of diminishing returns. And somebody asked me why, when you go into a fine dining restaurant, do you only get this small portion and you feel like you're going to walk out hungry, right? But when you go to the French Laundry, they have a fixed price menu. So whatever the chef is serving, whether you're getting 5 courses, 10 courses, that's what's served to you, right? And they might be smaller portions than you are used to. But Chef Keller says that there's a reason that fine dining restaurants do that, and that's because of the law of diminishing returns. He talks about most chefs try to satisfy a customer's hunger in a short time with 1 or 2 dishes. They begin with something great. So the first bite is fabulous. The second bite is great. But by the third bite, with many more to come, the flavors begin to deaden. The diner loses interest. It's like getting a hot bath or jumping into a cold pool. At first, the temperature is shocking. But after a few minutes, you get so used to it that you don't even notice. Your mouth reacts the same way to flavors and sensations. So what he's saying is if you get this huge plate full of stuff, it's great when you first start eating, but by the time you're done eating, you're so stuffed and you're walking out of the place like, eh. So you're leaving the place with a experience instead of the experience that I ate some of this and I want more of this, right? So it's basically a psychological game that they're doing. And that's the same thing with you at home. One of the things to help you keep you interested in cooking is variety. It's not doing the same dish night after night or having only 5 dishes that you cook. Because by the end of 2 or 3 weeks, you're only cooking those 5 dishes and you start getting bored with it. So then you don't want to cook because it's like, I don't want that again. It's not really about the cooking. It's that your sensation to that dish and the flavors has deadened, right? So that's when you know that it's time to start stretching your skills and bring something new into your repertoire. So even though the French Laundry is filled with caviar and it's filled with oysters and pearls and it's filled with all this stuff that me on a regular basis I probably wouldn't use, pasta dough, but there is a lot of gems in here that as a home cook I would use. And I think what I learned from Thomas Keller most is about techniques, about philosophy, about how to work in the kitchen, how to manage and organize and plan, right? So after I got the French Laundry, then I got Ad Hoc at Home. These are based on his restaurants. Ad Hoc at Home is family style recipes. So this is the book that's a little bit more approachable, and it has more kind of recipes that you would cook at home. The philosophy of this book is for platters. So people eat from platters, family style, which is a lot different than how it is at the French Laundry. This book is great. I have learned so much from this book. I can't even tell you. So the way Thomas Keller says to approach a cookbook is to look through the cookbook and pick something that interests you. Either it could be the easiest recipe in the book, or it could be something that's approachable or familiar to you, and cook that recipe. What Chef Keller says is success encourages you to continue to try. And that's what I always say from the very beginning. Small successes reduces your frustration and increases your confidence. So start when you get a cookbook with something that is familiar or doable to you. So this book goes through a lot of your basic things. How to cut a chicken, how to truss a chicken, chicken pot pies, how to make a basic beef stew, beef tenderloin, porterhouse. This book is fantastic. Mushroom soup. So if you think that Thomas Keller's recipes are not approachable or out of a league for me as a beginning home cook, I would probably think again. Think about this book here, Ad Hoc at Home, Family Style Recipes. This is a fantastic book. Also, the other book that I have is Bosch. This is his bakery. And all you have to do is look through the pictures of this book and you will be like, wowed, right? Some of these, this kind of stuff takes practice. You don't learn to master these recipes. You throw up some flour in a mixer and you think that you're going to get, gingerbread. That you're going to just turn out this thing that's going to be a prize-winning recipe. These things take time, they take practice, and that time and practice and effort is worth it. Because when you master that dish, you will feel confident to move on to the next one. Just like Chef Keller says, small successes builds confidence and gives you that motivation to try the next one. So guys, it's Wednesday. I just wanted to give you a little bit of look into some of the people that have influenced me along the way. We're going to keep this up because I have a lot of people that I study, some that I just started studying and some that I've been studying for a while. And the advice I can give you is find somebody that motivates you, that you like their style, and study their work. Get their books, listen to their interviews, read the articles that they wrote. Just look at how they do things and start modeling that, bringing what works for you into your kitchen, and then move on to the next person. And by the time you do that and you gather several mentors, that will help you improve your skills, your motivation, and your attitude towards cooking. It will become a pleasure and not a chore, right? So I'll put links in the description to all these Thomas Keller books. I think that they're great. I think you'll really like this. And I think there's a lot that French Laundry offers, even to the home cook. Even if a lot of the recipes are challenging, the techniques, studying this book is a fantastic way to learn. So I definitely say these books are fantastic and should be part of any home cooking library. So what's up? It's Wednesday, right? These books are great. I'll leave a link in the description to these. I think you'll really enjoy them. I hope you have a great week. It's starting to get warm outside, so we need to start thinking about some salads, some cold dishes, and all that fun stuff. So I hope you have a great one. Thank you for joining me. Links will be in the description, and have a great week. If you like this video, please subscribe below, leave me a comment and a like, and visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook. On Facebook, you can join my group at facebook.com/groups/Amy Learns to Cook. And on Instagram, I'm at Cooking with Amy.